Okay, so we are going to start out with a cupcake, and I'm going to go ahead and start to frost the cupcake. This can be any flavor that you want, although I will say that a chocolate or brown cupcake and chocolate or brown frosting would be ideal for this since we are mimicking dirt. Here I am using blue frosting because that's what I had on hand and I didn't want it to go to waste. So now I'm going to take some cookies. You can use any chocolate cookies that you have on hand or that you want, but basically these are Oreos without the filling, and I'm going to crush them up into tiny little pieces. I have left some bigger chunks just for some texture, and I'm going to go ahead and sprinkle the cookie crumbs right on top of the frosting. You can dip the cupcake into the crumbs. So if you were using chocolate or brown colored frosting, it wouldn't be so hard to conceal because it would just blend right into the brown crumbs. But since I am using a different color, it's going to take a little bit more to conceal that blue. This is what my cupcake ended up looking like, and I think I did a pretty good job of concealing that blue frosting. So now we're going to go ahead and make our little zombie hand. I have a ball of fondant here, and I have colored this sort of like a yellowy browny color. I started out with a skin tone. I added yellow, brown, a little bit of black, and a little bit of green. Don't worry about getting the perfect color. We are trying to mimic a decaying hand, so as long as it looks sort of old and dirty, it's perfectly okay. So I'm going to start molding and shaping. I want to just throw it out there that I'm not a sculptor. I don't know how to sculpt. I'm doing my best, and I really liked the end result, so I'm showing you how I achieved that. I'm going to start out and make a peanut shape, and I'm going to flatten out the top half of it, and the bottom half I'm going to sort of round it out. Now, I had too much of that bottom section, so I just ripped some off and started to round it out again. As you can see here, I'm trying to mimic the palm of my hand, how it has that little indent at the bottom. So I'm going to take a flat, straight, sharp edge, and I'm going to go ahead and cut 4 slits into the top part just to create our 5 fingers. I'm then going to go ahead and start molding and shaping the fingers, elongating, rounding them out, smoothing them out, just to make it a little bit more realistic. My fondant was getting a little too warm and hard to work with, so I had to bring in some powdered sugar. This is a really great tool if your fondant is too soft. Bring in some powdered sugar just to harden it up and dry it out a little bit. So once you're done molding and shaping your hand, and this is what mine looks like, we're going to let it dry a little bit because we did so much to the hand. It's very, very warm, and we want to let it dry and rest for a little bit since we are going to be painting over it. Put it on something round so that the fingers can curve over it. I'm putting it on the end of the knife, and I'm just going to let it rest for about 10 to 15 minutes. If you can do 20 minutes, that's what I would suggest. I'm going to insert the toothpick right on the wrist. This is just going to make it easier to hold the hand while we are painting, and it's going to hold the hand in place when we put it inside the cupcake. So here I have some food coloring in a watercolor palette and a brush. Now I need to stress that I only use this brush and this palette for food coloring or food related things. Please don't mix your paints palette and brushes with regular paints. So in this palette I have some water, I have brown, yellow, red, green, and a maroon food colorings. So I'm going to dip my brush in water. I'm going to take some of that maroon color. I'm just going to start sort of painting on the hand. I decided here that I wanted more texture on this hand, so I'm going to go ahead and rip off the pinky finger. This is supposed to be a zombie hand, so I just wanted it to look more, I guess, dead and more decaying. Yeah, so I'm just taking a toothpick, and on the end of the pinky I'm just making little holes just to make it look more broken. I'm also going to start making holes on the palm, on the fingers. I'm going to start scratching the surface, and I'm also going to start lifting some of the fondant just so that it could look more like deteriorating skin. And yeah, it's going to make it look really, really cool. So I'm going to take that maroon color, and I'm not going to add water this time because I want it to be more pigmented, so that it could look like old and decaying blood. I'm going to focus that into the deep parts of the hand, so in the parts that we lifted, on the little cut pinky, the little holes, that's where we're going to focus this maroon color. Then I'm just going to go ahead and take some water and take washes of different colors and start just brushing that all over the hand. Not only is the hand supposed to look bloody and gory, but it's also supposed to look dirty since it is coming out of the dirt. So once you have your hand looking all nice and old and gory and bloody, we're going to place that on our cupcake. I'm going to place it in the middle, but I'm just going to insert it in, and I'm going to take some more of those crumbs and just put some crumbs around the hand just so it could make it look just more natural since the hand is supposed to be coming out of the dirt. And once you're done doing that, you're done with your bloody zombie hand. And I think that this is really, really cool. So I hope you guys like it. Please remember to subscribe so that you don't miss the other 2 Walking Dead inspired cupcakes that I have coming up later on this week. And make sure to share the heck out of this video. I would really appreciate it so much. I'm so excited for The Walking Dead. Oh, it's going to be an amazing season. So yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I love you so much. Bye!